What began as a quiet murmur has now exploded into a full-scale showdown. Tasha, internet's boldest and most dreaded commentator, has just ignited a wildfire on the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta set. And trust me, this blaze is scorching through secrets everyone hoped would stay buried. The buzz is that Tasha is holding on to some private footage involving Mendeecees and Erica Min's footage that reportedly captures a backstage confrontation that quickly spiraled out of control. She's made it clear she's ready to drop these videos. Warning, don't play with me. Fans are stunned, left scrambling to piece together how Tasha got hold of such explosive content and why it centers on Erica and Mendeecees, who have been publicly denying any involvement with each other. Suddenly, the whispers about last week's on-set drama, when security had to intervene and Yandhi left in tears, start to align, casting a sharper light on the chaos behind the cameras. Tasha, notorious for her fearless and often incendiary reporting, may have just pushed the boundaries too far during what was meant to be a calm, low-profile sit-down on the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta set. The meeting was intended to ease tensions between Erica Mena and Yandhi Smith, two women caught in a swirl of ongoing drama. But from the moment Mendeecees walked onto the set, there was an unmistakable chill in the air. His demeanor was cool and detached, barely sparing Yandhi more than a glance, while Yandhi sat rigid and tense, arms crossed as if bracing herself for a storm. Meanwhile, Erica arrived late and visibly shaken, clutching her phone with a message that threatened to unravel everything. It was a blunt warning from Tasha herself, who claimed to be in possession of private, potentially explosive videos involving Mendeecees and Erica footage that, if released, could shatter reputations and alter relationships irrevocably. The fragile piece of the room shattered completely when Erica finally confronted Mendeecees, sliding a screenshot across the table, a stark message from Tasha that read, "I got videos, you and her. Don't play with me." Mendeecees' initial denials, meant to steady the room, soon faltered under the weight of the accusation. His voice dropped. Fear and uncertainty crept in, silencing any rebuttal. Erica's words cut deep as she accused him of lying about that night they both swore was private about the hotel room encounter that now lay at the heart of this brewing storm. Yandhi remained still but attentive, her eyes fixed on the tense exchange, absorbing the unspoken betrayals that hung heavy between them. The producers, sensing the situation escalating beyond control, quickly called for a halt to filming, ushering the cast off set under the pretense of technical difficulties. But off-camera, the confrontation only grew more intense. Behind the scenes, trust was fracturing, alliances were cracking, and loyalties were being tested in ways no one could have predicted. Tasha's threat loomed like a ticking time bomb, promising to detonate secrets that many hoped would never see the light of day. As word of the confrontation leaked to fans, speculation exploded online. Supporters and critics alike were left to wonder what explosive truths these videos contained, and how they might reshape the dynamics of the cast and the show itself. Would Mendeecees' silence be broken? Could Erica's revelations spark a reckoning? And how would Yandhi, caught in the crossfire, respond to the unraveling drama? The stage was set for a war far beyond what anyone expected from a simple sit-down, with Tasha's shadowy menace pulling strings from behind the scenes and everyone bracing for the fallout that was sure to come. Without a warning, Tasha went live the next morning, just her, a microphone, and a fierce fire in her eyes. Her message was blunt and unyielding. She had demanded the truth from those involved, but they stayed silent and played dumb. "I don't bluff," she declared. "If I say I have it, I have it. And if they don't come clean, I'm dropping everything: videos, screenshots, the whole archive." The internet exploded, caught between outrage and eager anticipation. Meanwhile, Erica posted a cryptic "pray for me" message on her story before quickly deleting it. Mendeecees went completely silent, and Yandhi posted only a black screen with 3 chilling words: "I warned you." By afternoon, a fan account uncovered hotel receipts and grainy images showing Mendeecees entering a downtown suite with someone resembling Erica, turning speculation into an impending scandal. Rumors spread that Rich Dollaz had warned Mendeecees weeks earlier, and fans started obsessively piecing together Instagram stories, rap party clips, and timestamps for clues. That night, producers called for a tense midnight rooftop shoot to capture raw reactions. Yandhi sat alone, jaw clenched, until finally, urged by the director, she stood and confronted Mendeecees. "So you cheated on me with her, and now the whole world watches me break." Mendeecees whispered a weak confession, but Yandhi's scornful laugh cut through. "You messed up. Or did you choose to hurt me every day while smiling in my face? The cameras rolled as silence swallowed the room when Yandy walked off, leaving a heavy void. Behind the scenes, producers scrambled to verify footage and clear legal hurdles. They had never filmed anything this intense or genuine. Then Tasha struck again, posting a photo of a laptop paused on a blurry hotel bed video. Captioned, "Y'all better come correct. I'm done playing with you clowns." Panic erupted among the cast, legal teams mobilized, and fans turned into detectives, hunting every detail. Amid the chaos, Bambi and Scrappy filmed off-camera confessionals about loyalty and betrayal, sparking rumors that Scrappy might be collaborating with Tasha for a bigger story. Erica's phone buzzed with a mysterious DM promising more footage angles and an ominous 2 a.m. meeting at the Dogwood Lounge. Torn between fear and curiosity, she debated, ignoring it but knew she had to uncover the full extent. Meanwhile, Mendeecees waited anxiously outside a dark house, wondering if the visitor would be Tasha, a confidant, or a trap. The stakes higher than ever as the tangled web tightened. Elsewhere, Yandy sat in her SUV through the fog, replaying her accusations and calling her lawyer, preparing for defamation and privacy lawsuits. While fearing Tasha's leaks might be a distraction from something worse, seeking refuge, she confided in her sister, whose gentle advice echoed in the quiet room. "You can't keep doing this. Either fight with everything or let go." Yandy's trembling hands gripped her coffee cup as tears welled up. Fight? Who? Him? Her? The network? Tasha, I'm exhausted from choosing sides. Her sister squeezed her hand, offering a silent promise of support amid the chaos. Choose yourself, that's the only side that truly matters, came the quiet reassurance. By midday, Tasha K was already making her next bold move, dropping a cryptic quote graphic that read, "Every empire crumbles from within." Fans eagerly dissected the message, convinced it was a veiled prediction of the show's impending collapse. Meanwhile, conspiracy blogs swirled with whispers that the network might be orchestrating the leaks themselves, a calculated ploy to boost ratings. Just before the season finale, speculation spun wildly. Was the infamous audio clip staged? Was Tasha collaborating with an insider? Or was the entire drama just smoke and mirrors? The uncertainty was intoxicating. Against this backdrop, Erica found herself walking into a scene straight out of a thriller. It was sunset at the Botanical Garden, the sky painted with streaks of pink and orange as shadows stretched like long fingers. There, beneath a weeping willow, an assistant producer face hidden beneath a hoodie handed her a sealed envelope. "Inside are text logs, call records, payment receipts," he whispered. "They trace back to someone you'd never suspect." Erica's heart raced as she tore open the envelope, her eyes darting over pages marked with phone numbers and timestamps. One name appeared again and again: Rosemary, a legal advisor. Before she could ask more, the producer vanished, leaving her alone beneath the willow, her mind spinning. Meanwhile, 2 blocks away in a grim motel room, Yandy and Bambi huddled over. Grainy photos spread across a bed. Mendeecees' phone screen with Erica's name flashing at 2:47 a.m., and a mysterious number calling repeatedly shortly after. "This isn't a stunt," Bambi insisted. "It's orchestration." Yandy's finger trembled as she traced the images. Mendeecees wasn't the only player in this twisted game, and Erica's meeting was no accident. "Someone's setting her up," Yandy said, eyes hardening with resolve. "Then we exposed them." Across social media, unscrubbed feeds erupted with leaked screenshots of a group chat between producers operating under the cryptic handle Project Overhaul. One message read, "Need a huge scandal before the finale, Tasha's on board." Another, "Plug the audio and the hotel vid, make the cast sweat." Fans exploded in fury, accusing the network of manufacturing fake drama. Hashtags like #FakeFAM and #manufacturedmeltdown trended worldwide. And media outlets picked up the controversy, interviewing analysts who lamented the blurring line between authentic conflict and engineered chaos. That night, Erica, Yandy, and Mendeecees met secretly at a quiet rooftop bar, each arriving separately, cloaked in anxiety. Erica laid the logs on the table, stating flatly, "We're pawns." Mendeecees, voice gravelly, added, "They're using Tasha's reputation to hide their own tracks." Yandy looked between them. "Tasha's either a tool or a key player herself." Mendeecees tapped his temple. "My lawyer says we can subpoena records, but it could backfire." Erica shook her head. "We need public pressure. If fans expose the network's dirt, they'll be forced to act." Yandy agreed. Step 1, confront Tasha. Step 2, leak the chat. Step 3. Demand transparency. The plan was fragile, but powerful. Meanwhile, high above the city, Tasha sipped champagne on her balcony, phone buzzing with secretive messages from fearful sources begging for anonymity. She smiled knowingly no one grasped the full story yet. With calm precision, she tweeted, "Big revelations tomorrow. Stay tuned." The city buzzed below, unaware of the chaos she was about to unleash. As midnight struck, Erica clutched the call records like a lifeline, Yandi rehearsed her words, and Mendeecees braced for confrontation. Then Tasha's tweet detonated, linking to an exclusive interview hinting at evidence beyond the leaks, naming the mastermind and pulling back the curtain on the puppet masters. The internet exploded anew. In the fallout, a top producer was suspended, legal battles ignited, and ratings soared to unprecedented heights. The cast watched the storm unfold, torn between relief and dread. They had exposed the system, but now the system was fighting back. And somewhere in the shadows, the true architect smiled quietly, watching the world burn around her meticulously crafted scheme. The moment Tasha's tweet went live, the city seemed to tilt off balance. Notifications flooded phones everywhere. As Erica anxiously watched the clicks climb, her heart pounding in her living room, surrounded by stacks of evidence and legal papers. Longing for a piece she knew wouldn't come. The exclusive interview, one she never agreed to, had exploded across Gizmodo, MTV News, even CNN's entertainment ticker, with bold headlines accusing producers of manipulation and promising to name the mastermind behind it all. Mendeecees stared in disbelief at the screen, realizing his attempt to control the narrative by leaking chat logs had only handed the reins to someone else. As he scoured emails for clues on who Tasha planned to expose, he questioned whether she'd orchestrated every leak like a master strategist from the start. Yandi, pacing in her apartment, felt the sting of betrayal. The summit where they had sworn unity now felt like naive trust. And as the internet dissected every conversation and photo, she wondered if any of it had been genuine or if they were all just pawns in a bigger game. Meanwhile, fans became amateur detectives, scouring Reddit threads and social media for answers. Was the mastermind a disgruntled former producer, a network executive desperate for ratings, or an outside PR firm hired to stir controversy? Obsessive threads pointed to a shadowy account that allegedly contacted Tasha weeks ago with insider intel for a price, casting doubt on her loyalty. This possibility sent chills through her loyal followers. Back at the studio control room, producers gathered around a screen showing Tasha's interview. Network executives' faces drained of color as they heard her accuse the network of manufacturing drama for ratings, prompting urgent calls for damage control. But the evidence was too detailed, too damaging to ignore. Unable to stay in the shadows, Erica took to Instagram Live, hands trembling, to confront the truth. "I never wanted this circus," she confessed, "but you deserve to know what's real and what's staged." She shared snippets of call logs proving producers coordinated the cast's confrontations. Her live viewership surged, some fans applauding her honesty, others accusing her of stealing Tasha's thunder. Mendeecees, meeting with his lawyer and publicist in a dim room, pieced together payment trails showing a freelance editor splicing private moments into explosive teasers. The editor's trail led to a shell company linked to a major PR agency notorious for crisis management across reality TV. It was clear this was a calculated campaign, not a rogue insider. Yandi, torn between frustration and fatigue, scrolled through social comments, some blaming her for silence, others praising her strength. As night descended, Tasha sat across from a shadowed figure in a downtown penthouse, examining contracts, payments, and a list of compromised names. "So, the network paid you to fabricate evidence?" she asked. The nod she received confirmed her suspicions. Sliding over proof emails between a senior producer and the shell company, she declared, "It ends tonight." Across town, Scrappy and Bambi huddled in their makeshift war room, securing encrypted footage and contracts. They agreed a joint public statement revealing the scripted conflicts was necessary, and timing it to undercut Tasha's next move. Back in her living room, Erica received a chilling DM from Tasha. "Meet me where it started." The downtown hotel suite from the leaked videos. Knowing it was likely a trap, Erica called Yandi. "I'm going alone," she whispered. Yandi's only reply, "Be careful. Tell the truth." Mendeecees, meanwhile, was offered a rare on-camera interview to tell his side. His publicist urged caution, but the chance for credibility was too important. He scheduled the dawn interview, nerves tightening as midnight approached once again. Tasha prepared her final assault, a video montage juxtaposing producers' scripted prompts with the cast's genuine emotions, exposing the extent of manipulation. Scrappy and Bambi readied their statement to drop simultaneously. As Erica headed to the hotel, Yandi silently vowed she was done with silence. Atlanta held its breath in the dead of night. Beneath the sensational headlines and shattered trust, a deeper battle for truth was unfolding in a world built on illusion. The next chapter promised to be explosive secrets buried deep, clawing their way to the surface just as dawn's first light crept through the curtains. The city lay eerily still, as if it too awaited what was coming. Erica slipped quietly into the dim lobby of the aging downtown hotel, clutching her phone and the grainy photos extracted from that secret folder, her heart thudding like a relentless drumbeat. She scanned the shadows that clung to every corner, sensing secrets lurking just beyond sight. Before she could fully take it in, the assistant producer emerged from the gloom, hoodie pulled low, leaning casually against a pillar. "You came," he muttered, his voice low and cautious. "I almost didn't." Erica's gaze stayed fixed on the flickering neon sign outside as she whispered, "I need the truth." After a moment's hesitation, he slid a sealed envelope into her hand. "Everything you asked for and more." The label on the envelope read, "Final Proof." Meanwhile, atop the rooftop where their last stand was set to unfold, Yandi paced, beneath the harsh glow of a single floodlight. Moments later, Scrappy and Bambi arrived, their faces etched with tension but resolute. Each carried folders, flash drives, and bundles of printed emails. "We go live in 10, Scrappy announced, voice taut. Bambi checked her reflection in her phone screen and murmured, "Can you believe it's come to this?" Yandi laid a hand on each of their shoulders. "This isn't just for us. It's for everyone who ever believed this show was real." They drew a collective breath, steeling themselves for the storm about to break. Across the street, Mendeecees sat in his blacked-out SUV, staring at his reflection in the tinted window. The draft of a defamation lawsuit rested in his lap. But his thoughts swirled between trusting legal safeguards and joining the public fight alongside his friends. He thought of Yandi's tear-streaked face, Erica's trembling hands clutching that USB drive, and Tasha's knowing smirk. Finally, he shut the door behind him and headed toward the rooftop entrance, ready to face the fallout not from behind legalese, but side by side with them. Inside the rooftop's makeshift media room, independent journalists arranged cameras and laptops. The network had refused to sanction this unauthorized press event, but the trio secured a live stream through a popular online outlet. Silence fell as Erica, Mendeecees, Yandi, Bambi, and Scrappy stood before a cracked white wall, fitting backdrop for the raw truth they were about to expose. Erica's voice was steady but edged with emotion. "We're here because the truth means more than ratings." She held up the envelope. "For weeks we've been deceived and silenced. Producers pulled strings, hired freelance editors to splice our private moments into sensational teasers, and used Tasha K's platform to amplify chaos for clicks. This," she tapped the envelope, "holds undeniable proof. Emails, payments, call logs, and footage from meetings planning our manufactured drama. Today, we demand accountability from the network, the producers, and anyone profiting from our pain." Scrappy stepped forward, voice roughened by years on the show. "I believed this was real, our lives, our friendships, our heartbreaks. But behind the scenes, they scripted." The CEO's voice crackled sharply over the line. "Initiate damage control protocol Delta. Prepare an immediate statement. We go live in 5 minutes." Producers scrambled to contain the unraveling scandal, but the story had already escaped their grasp. News anchors across local channels interrupted programming with breaking headlines. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta cast exposes producers in explosive scandal. Reality show drama manufactured for ratings. Network faces defamation and breach of contract. Lawsuits dot in the gentle quiet of Erica's apartment. Morning sunlight filtered through the windows, casting a soft golden hue across the room. The air was still, save for the faint clink of ceramic mugs as Erica, Mendeecees, and Yandi sat together, their faces marked by exhaustion but lit with a flicker of relief. The coffee in their hands had long since cooled, forgotten in the weight of the moment. Erica's voice was barely more than a whisper as she broke the silence. "We did it." Her words carried the tremble of fatigue but also the undeniable warmth of accomplishment and pride. Mendeecees, deep in thought, traced slow circles around the rim of his cup, A quiet affirmation escaping his lips. Truth over ratings. It was more than a phrase, it was a declaration of everything they had fought for. Yandi closed the small distance between them, wrapping her arms around both Erica and Mendeecees in a protective embrace. "We're free," she said with a voice full of quiet strength and hope. Yet beneath that triumphant declaration lay the sober understanding that freedom was only the beginning. Ahead loomed the difficult road of legal battles that would test their resolve, public scrutiny that threatened to expose every vulnerable detail, and the slow, painstaking work of rebuilding fractured trust with each other and with their audience. Still, in that small sunlit room, for the first time in weeks, a fragile but real sense of victory blossomed. They had wrested control from the unseen hands that had manipulated their stories and shaped their pain for entertainment. Together, they had pierced through the carefully constructed facades to reveal the raw truth beneath, reclaiming their voices in a world that had tried to silence them. The atmosphere held a blend of exhaustion and exhilaration, a quiet but powerful acknowledgement that while the battles ahead were daunting, this moment marked a turning point. It was a reclaiming not just of their stories, but of their identities beyond the cameras and scripted drama. In that calm, reflective space, they allowed themselves to feel the weight of what they had achieved, and the hope that this newfound freedom might one day lead to genuine healing and transformation, both personally and for the entire reality TV landscape they had challenged. Outside, Tasha K dropped a final bombshell update. "I called their bluff. The real puppeteer has been unmasked and it wasn't me." Fans erupted into a frenzy of speculation, demanding names and justice, while the network's half-hearted attempts at damage control only fueled the blaze. Hashtags calling for executive resignations and boycotts of the show trended worldwide. In the fallout, Scrappy and Bambi's leaked documents, Erica's candid live broadcast, and Mendeecees' forthcoming interview combined into a media whirlwind. Producers went silent. The network issued vague apologies, and critics penned essays dissecting the ethics of scripted reality drama. Emergency board meetings convened at the network's parent company, but amid all the turmoil, one question hung heavy in the air: would the public ever truly trust what they saw on screen again? The lines between reality and performance had blurred beyond recognition, melding manipulation with confession. As this chapter closed, Erica, Yandi, and Mendeecees sat shoulder to shoulder on Erica's couch, a fragile yet unbreakable unity. They had pulled back the curtain and revealed the masks, but now faced the daunting task of rebuilding their lives outside a show built on shadows. They shared a quiet moment of calm before the inevitable next storm, fully aware that in the world of love and hip-hop, drama is never truly done. As the dust settles on this whirlwind of secrets and schemes, one thing remains crystal clear: reality is often far from what the cameras show. Alliances were tested, truths buried, and powerful forces pulled the strings. But you witnessed the moment those shadows were forced into daylight. Erica risked everything to expose the manipulation behind the scenes. Yandi refused to remain a pawn. Mendeecees stood tall, facing the fallout alongside them. Together, they shattered the illusion and reclaimed their stories. Yet many questions linger. Who else lurks behind the curtain, orchestrating chaos? Will the network face genuine consequences or simply rewrite history and keep the cameras rolling? And as viewers, what will you do? Accept the next season at face value? Or look deeper, question more, and demand real authenticity? If the shock of each revelation gripped you, if the heartbreak of betrayal moved you, if the triumph of truth inspired you, show your support. Hit like if you're here for unfiltered drama. Subscribe for insider scoops. Ring the bell so you never miss the next explosive reveal, and drop a comment sharing your thoughts. Who do you think masterminded it all? Which moments left you speechless? How far would you go to protect your own secrets? Your voice shapes this story because, after all, you are the audience who keeps the cameras rolling. Stay tuned, because in love and hip-hop, the next chapter is always just around the corner.